this soulless pit of atrocities we call life, to each of us must come agonizing torments.
It's almost 2 days away from Canada's National Holy Day, July 1st. A very petty and unfortunate holy day that Canadians, if they wish, if they want, or if they're under the illusion of celebrating the national holiday of Canada's unappealed existence, doesn't necessarily smell like the Canadian patriotic spirit. I don't get that. It tends to smell like shit, but that's just, whether you're out here in buttfuck Quebec or just going out to Ottawa. But I have some very good news. Well, bad news for you guys, good news for me, because it was pretty obvious with this whole fucking trend. Global news, once popular elbows up merch, not a hot seller for Canada Day, vendors say. I guess the honeymoon phase is over. It's over, y'all. Actually, I'd like to know, if the elbows up merch is not a hot seller, what about Canada's not for sale? What's going on with the Cheesecake Fort? Or you might have to buy a few more guns on the side because those damn fucking criminals and auto thieves. Okay, I am not listening to that guy who suggested out in the Tirana PD. I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving my fobs at the door. I'm going to leave something at the door. It ain't going to be the fobs. Probably a cheesecake and maybe with a fucking kaboom in it. When Rachel Coe decided to launch an elbows up merchandise line at her store in Nova Scotia in March, she said it was an immediate bestseller. I mean, considering all things, I hope you guys are going to be flaunting on Canada Day with your patriotism. How many? I want to see how many fucking tattoos are going to be permanently on your fucking body for Canada Day because of Comrade Carney. He united everybody against literally Orange Hitler. Oh my god. Or you even have elbows up tattooed on you. You guys had to bring up the faux patriotism. That's all it was. It's just a faux patriotism, and then when eventually people will get back to their lives and being a bunch of losers and normies and, weirdos, the dust is gonna fucking settle. It was pretty obvious. Within a week, Coe and her timeless memory shop had already made 400 sales. By the end of the first month, she had sold 2,500 products, ranging from t-shirts to hoodies to car decals. Demand for items bearing Canada's rallying cry against U.S. President, literally Hitler, tariffs and annexation threats was so high that Coe launched a website to keep it up with the surge. Oh, you almost like capitalism, right? I mean, minus the fact that the outside force of this full patriotism is, I think, pretty much just inorganic, just to get people to buy the products. But I mean, capitalism. I wonder what she's gonna do with all that fucking extra money. And the threat of annexation. Guys, it's actually been a few months since that whole threat of annexation. The United States would have done it already. They would have fucking done it already. And you guys are so afraid. I couldn't believe the amount of how terrified Canadians were. I couldn't believe it. I was pissing my pants and just enjoying how much people were freaking out over this thing. It's like, they could have done it a long-ass fucking time ago. This is not the first time that trades were happening between these two fucking countries. Oh, this is fucking hilarious. The threats was so high. Yes. So what did you guys do to combat the threat? You literally bought merchandise with a bunch of sloganeering. That's all you did. And actually, I made the mistake a long time ago that Canada's not necessarily a place where meme magic is a thing, but you can thank Donald Trump for that. That's fucking metal, dude. It was a response from all over Canada, including Quebec. Yeah, you damn right. We reach every single province, then we started covering worldwide. Our elbows up merch went everywhere. Oh, but not freedom though. Freedom is not a good thing. Let freedom reign. I don't think so. But elbows up, that actually catches on, which is so fucking stupid. But it's like what my boyfriend says, and this was perfect sloganeering. Elbows up and pants down. Because that's what the average Canadian is. They will obey the fuck out of... They'll just be compliant little bitches, and you saw that during the pandemic. So how is this any fucking better? How is this not an embarrassment for you guys? Again, I don't feel anything because I do not have the same values as Canadians. So many Canadian businesses hopped on to the patriotic trend that also saw Cheesecake Ford wearing Canada's Not For Sale ball cap ahead of January meeting with Canada's premiers and prime minister. Did that dry up? Oh yes. I just love the fact that you guys are just going on with the memetics behind this, and you forget these idiots and their handlers. It's the same thing. That's why I'm of the opinion that the Quebec separatists, especially the ones that are out there that are already established in Quebec City, it's a fucking psyop. You're gonna sit there and seriously try to sell me this bullshit that Vive le Québec libre! Actually, you guys should put that on a fucking cap and try to sell it. Free Quebec, yeah. From the shackles of globalism. And you decided to sell yourself out. But yet, there goes Lego. Let them get reelected again. 4 more years. And it's still the same shit, different ass. What fucking change? Who is your next viable champion next in line? The PQ. But coal sales started slowing down by May, and despite the slight boost ahead of Canada Day, she said the Elbows Up line is now selling at similar rates to the classic red and white merchandise she sells every year around this time. Yeah, guys, because it's just a fucking trend. It's a trend that's gonna blow off, and by the way, this thing is like advertisement as well. I'm not trying to promote it, I'm just making fun of the memetics behind it. Because it was obvious it was gonna fucking slow down. How many of you assholes who are the Elbows Up crowd, We Love Canada, and Canadian Patriot Act, are still buying Canadian? Only buying exclusively, even though we're inclusive here in Canada, exclusively buying Canadian products only. When we say exclusively, the whole process of made in Canada, of grown in Canada, product of Canada, 100% touched with Canadian hands. There's no traveling, there's no trade, nope, here in Canada. I hope it's 100% exclusive and the motherfuckers that are working at your business are Canadian only. You guys that are still buying Canadian, stay off of YouTube. No Amazon. Anything that is American. You wash your hands, you absolve yourself of everything American. You're going to listen to what Canadian TV is going to tell you. You're going to promote Canadian content, and you're also going to help support even the French, because they have a fucking quota. Because they have to make other Canadians and Quebecers, whether the demand is there or not, to force you to listen to Canadian approved by the government content. Not people like me. I'm to this. I am to this for other people. I'm a traitor. I should burn at the stake. The rallying cry, initially embraced as a grassroots movement at the height of the cross-border trade tensions, and literally Hitler's musings about making Canada the 51st century, has shifted to a more generic expression of Canadian pride amid continued tensions, retailers and experts say. That we all get along here in Canada, you know? We, out here in the East, have finally put our differences aside despite the French, despite the English, despite the Federalists, despite the Separatists. We welcome Alberta with open arms, and we want those pipelines. Drill, baby, drill. We'll accept it in the name of Canadian spirit. Adding that Canadian patriotism is becoming less combative as annexation talks have died down. Yeah, and what does that just go to show about Canadians in general? The patriotism, it's bullshit. I think it's all bullshit. It's mimetic. It shows you where we're at as a society, as a fucking collective, in the zeitgeist. Howard Ramos, a professor of sociology at Western University, said elbows up became more of a partisan than it used to be. Yeah, because online that thing is going to manifest into something else. That's memetics for you. It may mean one thing originally, and then as time goes on, it's going to transform into something else. But not enough patriotism to call out the bullshit of your beloved federal government when Cuban Fabio was in office. Prior to that, Stephen fucking Harper. I mean, you do realize that patriotism is not just about buying Canadian-made products or anything of the merch that is on an egg carton. If that's your level of how far your patriotism goes, you are not really patriotic. You guys aren't. That's why the whole point of this video is to mock you guys. Here's my Canada Day video. You guys are not patriotic. Patriots, actual fucking patriots, celebrate the adversity of their country, but they also have to criticize the badness, the ugliness behind that. Do you think the United States, for example, is so fucking innocent? Despite the fact of Lady Liberty, despite the First and Second Amendment, they have been plagued for many fucking years of espionage, intelligence agents, and CIA this, FBI that. All of this fucking corruption, all the amount of propaganda for many fucking years, and also funding X amount of wars. That's not freedom. Leave the other fucking countries alone and screw them. Screw those countries. Okay? They get the government that they voted for. You get what you fucking deserve. It's a blanket statement. The United States is not so fucking innocent. Neither is Canada. This just goes to show how bullshit Canadians are. They do and they are. This is how bullshit Canadians have been. All my fucking life I've seen this. And you guys are a fucking disgrace, but I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that is saying, hey, there's some good ideas that the Americans fucking have that we should bring up here, but no, you're a traitor. If you don't like Canada, get the fuck out. Now you see on social media, especially conservative handles that use the elbows up in a sarcastic way to criticize Mark Carney or the leftist policies. It's not a political term. It simply means that you're defending your country and everyone should be defending our country. Just like you would against a goal in hockey. Well, listen, if you guys are so patriotic, then when World War III will commence, I hope you guys are okay with the draft. If you guys are so eager to fight for your country, don't ask what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. Draft anyone? I hope a lot of yous will be ready. I hope a lot of yous will be elbows up and having those guns and going off to a foreign land to fight the elites for whatever bullshit false flag operation. Yeah, something akin to that, or just pummel me down into the ground and make sure my body does not have a marked grave. Because I'm such a traitor for going against the average Canadian and really spurring people on in the comment section of MTL blog. Danielle McDowell, owner of Vernon, BC base Rowan Tree Clothing, says she stopped promoting her elbows up merch on a large scale when she knows the phrase was being interpreted as anti-conservative and boomer movement. The boomer movement. Yeah, you know why? Because it's because the fucking retards that voted for Comrade Carney out of all the demographics was actually of the boomers. What was the main reason to go against Trump? Okay, boomer. I don't want to support Canada. I don't want to support Canada because of the hypocrisy behind it. And quite frankly, I'm done with Canada. I don't want the federal apparatus to even fucking exist. Yeah, that means Canada goes bye-bye. Alberta is going its own way. Quebec is going its own way. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you being a language Nazi in power is going to be tolerated any further. And this mimetic trend, to be honest with you, just shows that Canadians are compliant. They don't really care. So I'm pretty sure some of them do, but how much do these people really sincerely fucking care about Canada as a whole? Where was that patriotism against Cuban Fabio? Any criticism, anything, any direction that Canada's going? Where was that criticism? To be honest, it's a rational question, but in the grand scheme of things, of how brainwashed people are, it really doesn't matter. The question becomes moot. It's a foregone conclusion. Why is that? Because we have to get rid of Donald Trump, that's why. Sorry, literally Hitler. We have to get rid of literally Hitler. Never mind the guy that we invited into Parliament who were giving a standing ovation to an actual fucking Nazi, and you guys voted in for commies and Nazi sympathizers. Freeloader. Let's not look at our own fucking backyard. Let's see what's going on with other people's and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, that's my Canada Day video. I really want Canada to be fucking abolished, and the federal apparatus goes bye-bye, goes blitzkrieg, and every province goes its own way. I would love it if the Americans annexed us and we become an American. Oh yeah, you guys know where this is going. I don't need to say more. Peace out.